Tashkent State University of Law is hosting 3 days international scientific and practical workshop, supported by Nordic International University in Tashkent. The participants had a chance to learn more about the Finnish experience in ensuring the rule of law. Uzbekistan has a civil law system based on the Soviet legal tradition, while Finland has a civil law system based on the Germanic legal tradition. The participants noted that Uzbekistan could merge two systems and come up with a new one for the country.
It is possible to have different ways of fulfilling the basic criteria of the rule of law, or this triangle of rule of law, democracy and the human rights, because they are linked to each other. So versions can be done, and there can be an Uzbekistan version, but you cannot at the end of the day just take part of the main sort of requirements, the basic ideas. But yes, I think it's very crucial that you will find a way, or it may be a pathway that somehow takes into account your own tradition and your own culture. What I understand is that you have a little bit similar background as in Finland, that you are getting this, what is Uzbekistan about, as the Finns at the birth of the nation in the early 20th century. We had this saying that we are not Swedes, as we were under their power, and we don't want to become Russians, so let us be Finns. Mm-hmm. And we started to create this Western rule of law from our own experiences. So you can do the same, I'm sure, but you cannot sort of cut out the corners. The basic values and principles needs to be there.
It was also noted that the rule of law represents not just the nation's trust, but also well-being.
That is so important to understand, that we can use it also with scientific studies, that the stronger the rule of law is in a country, the wealthier the country is, the better off are the ordinary families. And I usually tell my story about my grandmother, who was an orphan, and Finland at the time was so poor. There wasn't any social security, so all the orphan children in that village were sold on a market every year for the family that demanded the least sum of money for taking care of them. And even in those circumstances, she got to school, she was really good at school, but also when it comes to safeguarding her investments, her bright ideas, that the corruption wouldn't steal from her ideas, that she could start with her own career life and her business life. The rule of law was there. So education and the rule of law were actually the key elements for very many Finns, I mean thousands of very poor Finns, to get wealthy, to trust on the society, because they could trust on the independent courts, to rely upon that they were treated equally, even though they were poor. That's how Finland got so wealthy and rich as we are now. It was partly and in a big deal because of the rule of law.
Participants also highlighted best practices Uzbekistan should learn from Finland and what could be achieved by bilateral cooperation. We need to study the experience of Finland in achieving 17 SDGs, because Finland ranks first in implementing them. In Parliament, Finland has formed a committee of future issues. One of the main tasks of this committee is to make forecasts on how to address issues that may arise in the future or development of technologies that may affect human life. The formation of such committee in Uzbekistan will be very useful. Overall, both Uzbekistan and Finland have legal systems designed to protect the citizens' rights and ensure the rule of law. Mutual partnerships and exchange of views on various aspects of the legislation, the rule of law and human rights will benefit both sides as well as lead to innovations in the sector.